What's up, YouTube? Ryan Panny here. Hope you guys are doing reasonably well. Welcome to the fourth and final installment, thank God, of the latest year-end lists to probably ever exist. I can't imagine anyone's gone till March, but I'm breaking new ground here. Hope your 2019 is off to a killer start these first couple of months. Mine certainly is. It's been a great year so far, and the plan is just to keep that momentum rolling. This last list, with all the album ones out of the way now, it's always a bit looser, a bit just more for fun and reflection. Like in 2016, I did Best Party Songs, which was like one of my favorite videos I've ever shot. I had so much fun doing that. Last year, I did Songs That Defined 2017, which I really enjoyed that one too because of how personal it felt. Like, there's a big difference between the best songs and the songs that defined a year for you specifically. And I really enjoyed the personal aspect of that, of discussing how these songs basically became like the soundtrack in my head to any montage of that year's events. So I'm gonna do that again, except this year I'm gonna rank them 10 to 1 because, you know, shit's getting really serious. Clearly, we're doing year-end lists in March. Right off the bat, before we get going, kind of an umbrella honorable mention to Drake. Didn't really like his album or double album, Scorpion, all that much, but several songs from that could have easily sauntered their way onto this list, but, you know, the writing staff saw fit to exclude them, so tough shit. So again, we're gonna go 10 to 1. Yes, I know how ridiculous it is that this video is coming out as late as it is, but I still think you guys are gonna enjoy just a little minute of fun retrospect before we get on with our year, or at least the 10 months remaining of it. At number 10, coming in at the tail end of the year, Ariana Grande with the song Thank You Next, which of course, now with the album release of the same name, this song is even more ubiquitous than it was before, but still one of the best breakup songs I've ever heard. The lyrics here might be slightly tongue-in-cheek depending on how you interpret them and how much underlying pettiness you read in here, but either way, this general idea of viewing heartbreak and uncoupling through the lens of gratitude, that really is genuinely the best way to deal with it. And I love that Ariana is setting that example for her fans, many of whom are probably younger and a little bit more impressionable, and who have, of course, followed her through a string of public, high-profile relationships for years now. And, you know, going off that tongue-in-cheek thing that I kind of alluded to earlier, the genius of this track is that it's kind of like multi-purpose. Like, I could definitely see a lot of listeners listening to this in more of like a sassy, vindictive way if they personally have been hurt by someone in the recent past and want to get on with their lives, whereas there's probably a lot of other people who will be trying to recover through the lens of gratitude that the song actually presents at face value. So it kind of like works both sides of the coin. And also I love the wintry production on this thing. Like this song kind of feels like you're inside hibernating after an intense summer romance. Number 9, it fizzled pretty quickly, but I still gotta include Kanye and Lil Pump's I Love It track. This was fucking everywhere for a minute there. And I even considered at one point using one of those ridiculous over-the-top box outfits from the ridiculous over-the-top music video as a Halloween costume. Because I just loved it so much, I thought it was hilarious. But you know why this song is so significant to me? This is the first hit single in a long time that I can remember where the music video was actually integral to the song's popularity. Like, I feel like it used to be that music videos and their concepts could help drive a track's popularity. Like, think about when Eminem came out, or more recently, someone like Bobby Shmurda with the Shmoney Dance, whatever the fuck that was. And with this song, it was just really cool to see that kind of wacky, absurd, out-of-the-box music video concepts could still pay dividends. Because this song really went viral because of the ridiculous video, let's be honest. And it was like annoyingly catchy, and I guess you could, if you really want to try to be like political about it, there's sex positive feminist messages in there, I guess. But also, before we move on, we have to forget the SNL performance of this song. Holy shit. It was so fucking bad. Was that SNL or was that The Tonight Show? See, I don't even remember. I'm like blocking it out, but either way, if we go back to the moment when this dropped, it was a big moment of the year, and I'll always remember it fondly. Número 8, La Solamente Canción Hispánica de esta lista, Mi Niego by, I think you pronounce it Reek, also with Ozuna as a feature, another enormous Latino artist. These past few years, I just feel like Spanish pop and hip hop have been slowly taking over the world. and in doing so have been injecting their influence more and more and more into American music. And I just feel like 2017, 2018 is kind of going to be remembered as a time when that really exploded. Whether it's the massive success of something like Despacito, or it's Drake doing the Bad Bunny feature, or American artists with very dominant Latino influences in their hit singles, like Cardi B, Camila Cabello, etc., etc. This Reek song was one of my personal favorite and also just one of the most inescapable tunes to come out of Latin pop music this past year. If you have set foot in a Spanish restaurant or bar or dance club for more than 5 seconds in the past 12 months, you've heard this track. Production-wise, I really enjoy that ultra smooth, almost boy bandish acoustic guitar that lines the dance hall-esque rhythms to the track. I like the vocal interplay. I like that this song kind of contains multiple hooks within the hooks to keep it snapping along. I just love when music from other cultures starts to integrate with ours, because let's be honest, just a bunch of fucking white people on the radio is very boring. And I just think that we're at the point, ever since, what the fuck was that guy's name? Psy. Remember Psy? Remember Gangnam Style? Like, we're at the point now where if Gangnam Style can be popular, then there's no excuse as a fan to cite a language barrier as a reason to not get into a style of music or a specific track. That excuse is just long gone. At number 7, Dream Pop Giants' Beach House with the track Lemon Glow, which this was for really the whole year my go-to track to escape and relax and unwind and just drift off a bit. This song is just so soothing and so zen and so gently melodic. It really is like curling up in a warm blanket after a blizzard of emotions that comes about in the course of any given day. I obviously can't speak for everybody, but I'm just, as a neurotic and overly analytical and highly reactive personality, I'm someone who greatly benefits from having calming music like this at my disposal. And there are several wonderful tracks from Beach House's 7 record, which came out last year, that fit this bill, but Lemon Glow takes the cake. What a great band. I got into Depression Cherry after getting to this one too, and that record is equally as good. I'm still kind of trying to decide where my loyalties lie. Juice WRLD, Lucid Dreams. This song is a perfect snapshot of this slightly emo trend that is kind of circling around this new class of up-and-coming SoundCloud rappers. I was at a bar when I first heard this track, and I actually didn't know who Juice WRLD was, but of course I immediately recognized the Sting sample in there, because that same sample is used on the classic Nas track The Message, which is the opening cut from his It Was Written record from 1996. So immediately I had to like it. I didn't really have a choice. But I did find myself really enjoying, genuinely enjoying the raw, uninhibited hurt and anger and woe is me disposition that just seethes out of these lyrics here about an ex-lover. I know we're like 10 years deep into this conversation now, so it's not really new. It got kickstarted by Kanye's 808s and Heartbreak album, but just after so many years and so many long hours listening to hip hop that is so hyper macho and just my dick's bigger than yours, etc., 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 I'm always going to be a little bit partial to lyrics that show hurt, show sadness, show vulnerability, and even a little pettiness. And you know, a song like Lucid Dreams is very indicative of both where hip hop is at now and hopefully indicative of where it is heading. At number 5, perhaps very unsurprisingly, if you happen to have watched my last year-end list, gotta give a little bit of love to Kasey Musgraves with the deeply profound track Happy and Sad. This track was really a personal soundtrack for me from the moment that Kasey's album dropped all the way through the end of the year. Like I said in my previous video, why is that? This song, I feel like, vividly captures an emotion that I have not heard articulated in popular music, but I feel like we all experience. When you're an anxious, worrying type, it's that quiet, sinking feeling that you start to get when things are going suspiciously well, whether it's with a new relationship or with success in entertainment, of course, which is very volatile, or an investment portfolio or a career or what have you. It's that feeling of, wow, things just are going so amazingly right now. What's it gonna feel like when they're not going amazing? What's it gonna feel like when I lose this thing that's making me so happy in the moment? You know, like I've fallen in love and I'm so blissfully happy with my partner, but what happens when we start fighting or we break up or I lose this incredible thing, this incredible person who's making me so happy in the moment? what's that gonna be like? How am I gonna deal with that? Because this seems to be so integral to my happiness at the moment. How am I gonna function without it? I just feel like she captured that unique, but I think relatively common agita with such a refreshing and accurate perspective. And again, country fan or not, you gotta listen to Golden Hour. Please give it a shot. You're gonna thank me later. Number 4, more music that I alluded to in my last video. This is an anthemic EDM track that came out way back in January 2018 and just carried me through miserable commutes in the winter months, and then stayed with me through summer fun, and then helped me through a pretty abysmal fall. Like where I live, it fucking rained all of September, most of October. I was going through a bit of a transitional period. So this song, I feel like, stayed with me through everything, the ups and the downs of 2018. And you know, stylistically speaking, this super talented trance trio, they infused some straight ahead house music into their sound with this cut, and Zoe Johnston has a great guest vocal on here. It's a vocal heavy track. It just was and is, and I think I probably said this in the albums video, as good of a soundtrack to a night drive in the middle of winter as it is to a sun-kissed day drink. If this were just a most played, like by volume list, this might get the number 1 spot. I feel like this song I might listen to more than anything else on this list. At number 3, the song that I cried to the most, Kanye West, Violent Crimes. As hip hop becomes more and more entrenched in its adult contemporary phase, with a lot of our favorite rappers getting into their 40s, you know, the topics are gonna mature along with the genre. And because of that, the last several years of hip hop have brought just a whole slew of touching songs about parenthood, whether it's from Nas, or it's from Royce da 5'9", or it's from Papoose or Jay-Z. And this year, Kanye West put out one of my favorites. This song makes me cry. And let's face it, we're all potential parents or current parents. So if a song like this is done right, it's gonna resonate. But you know what? It also makes me chuckle at Kanye's goofy, slightly awkward, but totally genuine approach to the topic. I mean, I guess you could say it's a little patriarchal or whatever, that he's saying, you know, don't do yoga, don't have a nice ass, because then you'll bring unwanted attention from boys. Like, I mean, you could pick it apart from that cynical lens if you want, but I just find it more like cute, that it's like his own little awkward Kanye way of approaching this very tender subject. And of course, I'm just in love with the dreamy hook from 070 Shake. And you know, by the time I found out that Partisan Fontaine actually ghost wrote this track, it was too late. I had already been listening to it all summer, and it didn't really change my perception of it that much or change its impact on me. Number 2, I have to begrudgingly include Sicko Mode. I have to. You just couldn't escape this one. And if you had told me in 2017 that, you know what, Travis Scott and Drake are gonna make a fucking single next year, I would have said, I bet that's gonna be fucking huge. And I would have been right. They really couldn't miss with this if it was done right. And you know, ironically, this song actually grew on me as I was forced to hear it more and more and more, which is rare with songs that are as overplayed as Sicko Mode was this year. But I was able to just find the little things in here, like for every dumb lyric about taking Xanax on a plane, there's also a cool Biggie interpolation or a unique beat switch. They're worth things for me to grab onto here, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So Sicko Mode, Song of the Year, I bet for a lot of people it was. And I'm not gonna sit here and belittle it. This collaboration really did have a lot of magnetism to it. And number 1, Cardi B, I Like It. Not my favorite song, not the best song, but along with Sicko Mode, I will probably always remember 2018 with a dash of Cardi B. But I will say, there is one thing that I really do love about I Like It, and it's that this song perfectly exemplifies 2 of the biggest demographic trends in hip hop right now, the ladies and the Latinos. In today's hip hop landscape, talented female MCs like Cupcake and Rhapsody and No Name and Cardi are all thankfully getting all the recognition that they so deserve. And I feel like we're finally shifting into a musical climate where, like, if Nicki Minaj were to come out now instead of 10 years ago, it wouldn't be, oh my God, she's a chick and she raps good. She's like Lil Kim except different. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's just, oh, another female rapper. It's long overdue, but hopefully women are finally melding into the fabric of hip hop to the point where femc or female rapper isn't really a thing. It's just good rapper, bad rapper. And I feel like Cardi's success has done a lot to push that forward, just like Nicki did before her. And of course, there's the Latin component to this track, which, as I mentioned earlier, American pop and hip hop are really starting to fetishize Spanish music, and it's produced some of our best songs recently. And so in addition to just being a huge, monstrously successful track, I like it gets my #1 spot just because I feel like it really exemplifies two significant demographic shifts in American popular music, and hip hop in particular. And that is all she wrote for absurdly late 2018 year-end lists. We're done. I'm so glad to be done because I have so much other material, some of it already shot, that I'm just really anxious to start pumping out. And I felt like I couldn't do that until I got these out of the way. So also with my schedule freeing up a bit here, it's just a very exciting time to get back into making content again. So really appreciate you guys sticking with me through this little lull, and I'm excited to ramp everything up again. Let's just hope that this time next year, I'm not still uploading my 2019 year-end lists. I promise I'll be more on top of it next year. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video and are not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so by clicking right over here, or just checking out any of the other content that I publish on this channel. Really appreciate your support. Appreciate you liking, disliking, commenting, subscribing. Any sort of interaction is greatly appreciated. You can always find me on Twitter and Instagram, handle @RyanPannyMusic. Thanks so much for watching again, and I will see you guys soon.